So then, Doug, when you get to end, then start with Gelbs.
Okay.
And we'll just go one each in the interest of time.
Okay.
All right. Whoa.
Oh, there's an early eh.
Wow. I wasn't sure what that was. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another living room edition of Baseball Night in New York. It's brought to you by your Tri-State Cadillac dealers, Doug Williams alongside Anthony Recker and Steve Gelbs. Fascinating story in the USA Today about potential plans for the 2020 season of Major League Baseball. Now, the sexiest part of this is the divisions. We'll get to that in 1 second. But maybe even more interesting is the fact that this is happening in June, according to these talks in this reported story. Early July at the very latest, but in June, teams would be playing, no fans, at their home ballparks. But the divisions, the Mets and Yankees would be in the same one. It would be 10-team divisions, 3 of them, obviously, and the geography would be so that no teams necessarily have to fly, or they're very short flights to constrict the amount of travel. That's what the divisions would look like. So you abolish the American and National League, you abolish the regular divisions, and the Mets and the Yankees are playing each other however many times a year, however many games there ends up being, whether it's 100 or less. Really, I can't, it blows my mind to even view this as a reality. But Anthony Recker, what do you think of this idea?
Well, I mean, let's hit the nail on the head first, is that this isn't like a definite, this is not something that they're even, this is just options, considering options. And I mean, as an option, it's fun. It's interesting. I mean, if you can get them in their home ballparks without the fans, it's tough, but you get to see them like that. I'm wondering how the Rays and Marlins both made it in there, but the Braves got shipped out somehow. That's kind of odd to me. But it's fun. It's exciting. It's different. We're going to have a shortened season. We're going to have some interesting things going on. Why not try it? If you can, but again, it's a huge if. I don't see it happening, but I'd love to see what happens if we do something different. Let's go all the way. Let's have fun with it.
Yeah, I agree with Rec. I mean, listen, let's just take the part that Doug was talking about with the Yankees and the Mets in the same division. That in and of itself would be awesome. That would just be so much fun to see, like a true crosstown rivalry with implications towards the playoffs. That would be something, unlike I think we've ever seen before. It would be awesome to watch. But I completely agree with Anthony when it comes to the realistic options in front of baseball. I don't really see how this one makes a whole lot of sense for a number of reasons. I think the whole point of trying to open up without fans is to make sure that you can keep things as isolated as possible. And if you're playing at everybody's home ballpark, basically, without isolating these players, it's almost impossible to make sure that everybody is safe. And when it comes to, getting on a flight, for me, I don't really understand why it matters if you get on a flight and fly to Miami or you get on a flight and fly to Los Angeles. Once you're in that metal tube, it doesn't really matter how long the flight is. So I don't really see this plan being the plan. But as you've seen this week so far, there have been like 4 or 5 that have leaked out. Baseball is going to throw everything against the wall, and hopefully in their minds, something sticks.
Right. As Anthony pointed out, and rightly so, these are just ideas. Nothing is near finalized. Every week or every couple of weeks, as Steve just mentioned, we hear more and more possibilities. It's good to know that brainstorming is happening, and it's good fodder for us to discuss. That's pretty much the stage that we're at right now. But Steve, I think you make a great point. A flight's a flight. And if the Marlins and the Mets are still in the same division, that means flying to Miami. And if you're still doing that, then it kind of, in my opinion, defeats the purpose of what I liked about the original Arizona plan and Florida plan, which was you're just keeping teams and players in the same small area. So that's where you contain everything. The good news is, and I'm sure you two agree with me on this, that this would be a good way to kind of a soft launch of the universal DH, because you don't have necessarily the American League and the National League anymore. You've just got the 3 divisions, and you could just you could sell everybody on it. And it would just be an easy thing for us as baseball fans to take along with all the other
They're not selling
changes.
us on it. They're not selling Recker and I on it. Go the opposite way. Yeah. Universal pitchers hitting.
Let's change segments here. Let's go to and by the way, we got a commercial break or pre-show, just a slight sliver of a glimpse at the noises that Steve Gelbs is going to make during this segment. So let's hope that he goes with less S and more of the high pitch variety, because we've got something exciting coming down the pike. Okay, Steve, we'll begin with you. Baseball's current postseason format is the best of any sport. Or
I really want to go with, but I don't even. I gotta be honest. I'm terrible at this game. It
was higher pitch.
It was like, I'll go with that. I don't even know what that means.
All of our living room.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, but I will say that is whatever I just did means yes. Most exciting, especially
high pitch.
That means yes. Okay, most exciting because of the wild card games that have been instituted recently. That to me changes not just the way the regular season is played, but makes for such an exciting opening salvo to the Major League postseason. Yes, that is the best.
Anthony, Clint Frazier will get a fair shake eventually with the Yankees.
I mean, this seems to have already played out. I think this guy, unfortunately for him, I got to meet him in Cleveland in spring training, and he seemed like a really nice guy. I've seen what's happened in New York. It's been a little bit odd. He's come across in a bad way in a few occasions, but I mean, it just doesn't seem like he's going to get the fair shake in New York no matter what. Even if he does get a chance to play, he already has a kind of a bad reputation among the fans and the media, so I just don't see it happening.
This is such a softball to Steve. Bat flips.
I don't need
to. I think that was too high a frequency for Zoom to even handle. The noise went away.
Did anybody hear it? Nobody heard it. That was like a dog whistle.
I think the local deer in my area, in all of your areas at home, heard it, but humans didn't have the capacity.
Yeah, who doesn't like bat flips? I mean, come on. Yes.
Okay. Anthony, Joe West would be a good hang.
No, not really. I mean, I like the guy behind me, when he was back there, just for the fact that he kept things light. But I don't know. I mean, he tells some good stories, but to me, he just, he's Joe West, and he forever, kind of, I wouldn't say ruined some games for me, but he just talked entirely too much behind me. I mean, I heard him talk enough. I'm good. Let's move on.
I would love to hang with Joe West. I will be honest. Elon University grad, by the way, for the record. Time now for Out of Left Field. Steve, we'll begin with you here. The next Met after Jerry Koosman, we know the Mets are planning on retiring his number. Who's the next Met after Jerry that should have his number retired?
Number 17, Keith Hernandez. Nobody from that 86 team has had their number retired. When you look at Keith and you talk to players that were on that team, his acquisition is really what launched them into that next stratosphere as a group. The captain of that group and what he's done for the organization, being such a big part of the broadcast in his post-playing career, I think that he is the next logical choice to get his number retired.
I think the obvious answer here is maybe David Wright, but I'm going to switch a little bit because I really like what John Franco did in his career, in his time as a Met. Just some of the things he accomplished, some of the teams that he was on, obviously what he's done. He still lives in the city. He grew up in Brooklyn. I mean, all these things, like just for so many reasons, he just seems like Mr. New York at times. So why not, kind of retire his number? I mean, he had a great career, whether it was as a Met or other players. If you look at his statistics, they're amazing. His ERA plus is only 3 points lower than who very few people consider the greatest closer of all time in Trevor Hoffman. Obviously, more people think it's Mariano Rivera, but great career, and I think he's got the opportunity and should have his number retired by the Mets.
It's an interesting topic that Mets fans are split on. I happen to be of the opinion that the Mets should retire more numbers and celebrate the great players in their history. There are Mets fans, though, who are saying, wait, let's not just give it to anybody. Let's not be the Yankees and everyone gets a plaque in Monument Park. Let's make sure we only do it for the greats. If you're watching this online, you're going to have to tune in at 7 o'clock on SNY on TV to see Hensley Mullins, who's going to join us after the break. And if you're watching this now on television, you'll see Hensley. He'll join us coming up.